Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. His peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon each and every one of you, whether you're Muslim or you're not Muslim. Um, so I just created this channel, and I'm Amiri Amin. That's the Muslim name I chose for myself. That's what I be going by. First and foremost, I want to say Alhamdulillah. All praise be due to Allah, the cherisher, the sustainer, the governor of this world, the next world, and any world that you can think of. Second, and a little less important but very important to me, I want to explain, not explain, but I want to say that I'm not by far any means at all Muslim apologetic. I would never be a Muslim apologetic. Wallahi azim, I swear this by Allah, I would never be a Muslim apologetic. Because I'm not apologizing for anything that's in the qadr of Allah. And the qadr of Allah is the divine decree. Anything that Allah has ordained, that's what it is. Any word that He has said, that's what it is. Straight up. God said He made Adam, then He made Hawa, which is Eve. He made Adam, then Eve. That's what He made, and that's where we came. That's our greatest grandparents. You hear me? So I'm just let you know, if you on this channel and think that I'm gonna apologize for anything Islamic, I don't care if you want to debate, I don't care what it is. I'm not apologizing for nothing Islamic. Whatever it is, it comes with Islam. That's what it is. Especially if it got some kind of evidence. The Quran is evidence enough, but if it's something that's not in the Quran and it's in the Hadith, so whatever, straight up, I live by the Sunnah. I don't consider myself to be a Sunni Muslim, Shia Muslim, or Wahhabi, or whatever. I don't consider myself to be none of that, because in the Quran, I don't know the exact surah or chapter, but I mean the exact surah or ayah. But in the Quran it says we should not divide into sects or sections. Basically as the way the Jews and the Christians do, so we don't divide into sections. Everybody that's a Muslim, you're just a Muslim. Straight up. We start by saying that. Everybody, I'm just a Muslim. I do abide by the Sunnah the same way the Sunni Muslims do. But at the end of the day, if Allah said there ain't no sections, ain't no section. Can't get in this section, I ain't trying to get in that section. I'm a Muslim. I follow the Sunnah, follow the Hadith as much as I can. I'm not the best Muslim. I'm not one of those brothers that's gonna get a dawah out. That's gonna claim to be a righteous, pious, perfect Muslim. Not at all. I'm really trying. And, been a very long struggle. Y'all hear about it throughout the daily. I'll try to post daily or at least a couple times a week or something. Y'all will hear about, a lot of my struggles. But it wasn't struggles Islamically, it's struggles Westernly. I'm a Western Muslim. I'm born in Dunn, North Carolina. It's about as least Muslim as you can get, besides like Alabama or something. I'm born in Dunn, North Carolina, Harnett County. So, not a lot of Muslim population. I was partially raised in Wilmington, Delaware, which is where I live now, and it's majority, everybody out here claiming they're Muslim, They probably took Shahada, they probably believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They probably believe in all of this, but not a lot of practicing going on. You really have to be in Jumu'ah every Friday to know, to see a resemblance of a lot of practicing, so and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide these brothers and sisters, one day that they start being real practicing Muslims and stuff. But they took the first step, and this first step, Shahada, the first step. But okay, so I don't have a crazy conversion story, or what in Islam we say revert story, because we say that everyone is born a Muslim. You're born with the will to submit, and that's a fact. Honestly, you're born with the will to submit. The first thing you learn, your brain barely even have functions yet. The first thing that you know how to do is eat. You submit to whatever or whoever is feeding you, or put something close to your mouth to, and that signals whatever brainwaves you have as a 1-day-old baby, to suck on it, to eat, excuse me, for lack of a better term. So yeah, you're born submitting to the will of Allah. You just don't know that you're born that way. You're raised to be Christian. You're raised to be Jew. You're raised to be Hindu or Buddhist or polytheist. You're raised this way because that's what you're taught from, whoever's raising you, your parents, your grandparents, whoever it may be, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, whoever it may be, raising. So this first video, I'm not gonna try to make it too long and drag it out and tell the whole exact story, but I know that I'll tell you that I was in and out of jail from the time I was 16, all the way until probably I was about 26. I'm Muslim for 14 years. I'm 31 years old, Muslim since I was 17. Going on 15 years. So, I don't have I'm not going to get up here like those fake ex-Muslims who converted to Christianity, or like Muslim brothers and sisters who might have converted to Islam and found it in different ways. I'm not. My story don't go like that. My story is as simple as this. I got locked up for my first time when I was 16. I did not become a Muslim in jail. Let's clear that air. I didn't become a Muslim in jail or prison or anything like that. I got locked up my first time when I was 16. I had a gun charge. I had a charge for bringing a gun to school. And at the time I had already actually my first time getting locked up, I got locked up for a simple assault and common law robbery. My grandma bonded me out. That's a whole nother story. I'll tell that eventually on this channel. My dad and my grandma bonded me out 3 days after I got locked up. So I was only in there for 3 days. I didn't really get the feel of anything. But when I actually got locked up and my dad decided to tell my grandma we're going to let him sit in there. Now, this is my grandma that's on my mother's side. Not my grandma that's on my actual dad's side. But my dad and my grandma that's on my mother's side were like this. Really close. They kept a bond, kept a connection. Anything he needed, he'd go to her. She got it. She'd give it to him or us. Or, I lived with her. But, so it was kind of that kind of bond. So she forced him to allow her to bond me out after being locked up for those 3 days. And he was trying to tell her to let me sit. Both were good advice. One, as a 16-year-old child, I don't feel like I needed to be locked up for that long. But also as a 16-year-old child, I felt like it was necessary for me to be locked up that long, so I could try to learn a lesson, which I didn't learn. So I ended up was only in there for 3 days. They bonded me out, and literally 3 days after they bonded me out, I went right back. For the weapons on school campus charge. So the first time was for the assault. The second time, which was 3 days after I got out, was for the weapons on school campus charge. Now in North Carolina, we don't have, maybe we do, but I don't know anything about a juvenile down there. Everything is jail, prison. I don't know nothing about juvenile per se. When you're 16 years old, you go to adult jail. You're not celled with an adult, but you're in the block with adults. You get out for rec time, trade, trades coming and everything, adults bringing it to you. You get out for rec time 3 times a day, adults is out there with you. You playing spades with adults, whatever the thing may be, I ain't gonna get into that. I'm gonna tell this story, my jail time story, another time. But so when I came in there and the guy see me come back, I went right back. Like the first time I was in cell block C. I was in cell C. I don't remember what cell number, but It was on the top floor left side. Not all the way at the end, but like 3 or 4 cells from the beginning. So I was in there. When I came back, I was in the same pod, the same cell, but this time I had a cellmate. When the guys see me come back in there, they like, bro, you didn't learn your damn lesson. You 16 years old. You didn't learn your lesson at the time. Now I'm 17 because I got locked up right before my 17th birthday. So a guy comes out to me. No, actually, I'm sorry. I'm lying. Stuck for a At the time, I was still 16. And this was the time that it led me through being locked up till I was 17. I got locked up. First time I got locked up, it was like October 27th. Then I got locked up again in like November 1st, something like that. It was like 4 days later. So yeah, so sat in there. This guy comes up to me. He's an atheist, by the way. Tyrone Sanders, I remember his name. He's an atheist. Comes up to me. He introduced me to this other guy who was technically speaking an atheist, but he was a what they call 5%er. 5%er is basically, is black people who believe that black men are God and black women are earths, and that basically white people is the devil. They're basically atheists. They believe in science and stuff like that. Like they ask you a question like, "What's your math today? What's the math today?" Or whatever. They believe in like math and science and shit. I don't know. It's confusing. But the atheist guy comes up to me. He brings me a book. What's up, Brody? He brings me a book. He like, I see that you finna be a repeat offender just like every one of us in here. That's 26, 30 years old and still continue to go. He said, you need some peace. Because my first time in jail, before this, I got in a fight my second day there. I was only in there for 3 days. I got in a fist fight. Dude, like I said, I'll tell that story later. He like, I see you need some guidance. So I'm going to guide you. I'm going to help you. I don't have to believe in what I'm about to show you, but you need to believe this. You need to see some. You need to get some kind of inspiration. He gives me a book. This book, to me at the time, means absolutely nothing to me. I'm in the streets. I sell drugs. I'm 16. I'm selling weed at school, cocaine at school. I'm selling that shit out of school. I'm in the club. Every weekend I'm in the club. I don't need no fucking ID. Excuse my language, just stuck for a lot. But like I said, I'm not a perfect Muslim. Say, I'm raw with y'all. Keep it raw. I'm in the club. I done been in 2 or 3 shootouts at this time. By this time, I done been in fights. I don't really. Like, this book mean nothing to me. Lo and behold, Alhamdulillah, it's the Quran. The book that he gives me is the Quran. Like, what's that? Like, it's the Quran. You know, it's basically the religion of Muslims and stuff. Kind of like how my 5%er brother that I introduced you to, it's kind of like how he is, except like they actually believe in a God and stuff. He's like, just read this. Wallahi azim. Wallahi. 3 days I read it cover to cover. In 3 days. Now when I first started reading it, it was confusing. That's why I said I don't have this miraculous story. Like, it's all over the place, for real. I do want to point out, I didn't become Muslim in jail or prison. I didn't become Muslim there. I didn't take my shahada there. I took my shahada outside, in the real world. But when I first started reading, like I said, it was like all over the place. Like the first surah al-Baqarah, stuck for Surah al-Fatiha, the first surah is, the Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rahmanir Rahim. Astaghfirullah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. the first surah is Surah Al-Fatiha. That first surah is in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the cherisher, sustainer, basically the governor of the world, the most gracious, the most merciful. Guide us to the straight way. Guide us to the straight way. Not the way of those who have gone astray, nor the way of those who have earned your anger or your wrath. This is sort of the Fatiha. I'm not a translator. I'm not the perfect Arabic speaker. I speak some Quranic Arabic. I call it Quranic Arabic because I know certain words, and I've never heard an Arab use the word inna. Inna means indeed. I've never heard an Arab use the word indeed in Arabic. They speak a different kind of Arabic. Not a different kind, it's all Arabic. But it's if I was to go to a American and say, yes, I think that meal was very delightful and gratuitous. You just don't talk like that. I was like, that shit was good. That meal, that food was good. You don't just, so it's the Arabics is kind of old school, new school type of thing. So, sorry if I messed up anything in Surah Al-Fatiha. So I'm not a translator by far, and I'm not a fully Arabic speaker. I just know some Quranic Arabic. So yeah, that was the first surah. That was the first chapter. It was okay, all praises to God. God is a straight way and everything, blah, blah, blah. That's what I was thinking at the time. Then I'm reading and it was Surah Al-Baqarah kind of confused me a little bit and so forth, so on. It wasn't until I got to Surah An-Nisa, the women. Not because of women, but that's where I started kind of understanding the Quran. I also say I did pause at one point in Surah Al-Baqarah. Ayatul Kursi, one of the most important verses in the Quran. I stopped at Ayatul Kursi, read that.
Hey, sir.
What's up, buddy?
Excuse me, 104.
104?
Uh-huh.
You gotta go that way.
That way?
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
See, Papa. You sure to say 104?
104.
Okay, yeah, that way.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. I'm on the block. Hood. Side B. This bra uncut for it. Not cut. None of this really. I'm just gonna be just straight. I'm recording, going straight to YouTube. So yeah, I understood I had to see. That's where I started really paying attention. So that's that's the 255th verse in the second chapter of the Quran. So that's verse 255, the second chapter. That's where I started paying attention. Hold on, okay, He is Allah. No sleep overtakes him, nor is no doze. He doesn't doze off. No sleep overtakes him. It's talking basically the throne of Allah. It gives them a lot of credit. So I'm who is Allah? I done read, at this point I done read Surah Al-Fatiha, which is 7 verses, and then all the way up to 255 before I started actually wanting to really pay attention. So I'm hold on, who is Allah then? Let me, you know what I mean? So then I get the Surah An-Nisa about the women and stuff, and I'm okay. This kind of aligned with some of my core values as a young dude. Kind of, that's the women. So it's kind of aligning a little bit. I get the Surah Al-Maryam. Like I said, I read the Quran, the full Quran, front to back, in 3 days. I get the Surah Al-Maryam. And this is where anything that I was familiar with became right there. Because I was raised a Christian, obviously. all black people in America raised Baptist Christian. Most black, I'll say about 80% black people in America, we raised Baptist Christian. I was in the church as a little kid and all of that. My mom used to tell me all the stories. She used to tell me all the stories. I was in the church. Everybody thought I was going to be a pastor. She tell me to this day. I was in the church. Everybody thought I was going to be a pastor. I used to be in there singing and praising the Lord and all that, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing I say about my conversion story that is different from a lot of people. My mom accepted me becoming a Muslim. She actually enjoyed it. My dad, he just made like little jokes. Like he'd say some stuff like, he'd say something like, hey, we cooking pork tonight, so we should make you some chicken first. He'd say something like that, but he'd do it in a joking way, knowing that he gonna make me chicken or something else. But he would do stuff like that. So my parents were really accepting of my decision. They was always accepting my decision. Like I said, I was in the street, so it wasn't like either one of them could have said, "Oh yeah, I don't want you to be a Muslim." Y'all could tell me y'all don't want me to be in the streets. Be the first thing you probably should tell me, in my eyes. So they was very supportive, very accepting. They made sure pork was taken completely out of my diet. Like my dad would cook pork chops a lot. We're from the South, so the South has a lot of pork. Everything in the South is pork. You eat pig feet, we eat pig feet, we eat chitlins and pork chops. And this is every week thing. Like once a week, eat at least one of those dishes type thing. So in the North, not so much. My mom is from Delaware. My dad's from North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina. It's like I get the best of both worlds, but like I said, my parents were supportive. So back to the topic at hand. So I'm reading this Quran, get a surah to Miriam. At the time when I read the surah name, I didn't know it was about Mary. I didn't know it's about Mother Mary, the Virgin Mary. I didn't know that until I started reading, and then it started telling the story and everything. So, and it tells like the full story. I haven't read the Bible in so many years that I don't know if it tells the full story, but it tells the full. Like it's like we as Muslims, we have the full story. So basically, Mary's mom was basically barren. Her mom and her dad, Imran, was basically barren. Wasn't able to have kids. Her mom asked God to be able to have a child. That's how she had Mary. And through that, Mary had her virgin birth or whatever. We don't believe that she was ever married to Joseph, who was 90 years old while she was like 12, 13 years. We don't believe that they was ever married or anything. We don't, So, that's the topic at hand. So I read the Quran. I ended up reading it all the way through in those 3 days. I came back to the jail, like I said, 3 days later. And 3 days after I got out. And I went back to the jail. My grandma and my dad was debating again. My grandma wanted to buy me out. My dad said, no, let him sit. He done went back. We just bonded about 3 days ago. Let him sit his whole time until they give him time served or give him his sentence. And I agree with both again. But this time I more so agree with my dad. And the only reason I agree with my dad, now to think of it, Alhamdulillah. Now to think of the only reason I agree with my dad is because I wanted a chance to read the Quran again. And tell you how that's true. When I got locked up and I called my grandma, I said, Grandma, this time instead of y'all getting me out, can you just put $20 on my books or $30 on my books so that way I could buy a Quran and buy some food? Like, you buy soups, you buy the noodles, chips and stuff to make swolls and stuff to make steak cakes and all that. Something like, can you just do that and put like $10 on my phone? She said, oh yeah, I'm gonna put money on there. So my grandma puts like $45. I guess she calls my mom. My mom sends and puts like $15 or $20 up there. So I got like $60 something, $70 on my books. My dad put some up there too. He called her, put some money on my books too. So I had like $60, $70 on my books. So I bought the Quran in Johnson County, North Carolina. Today, me as a Muslim today, If I never been to a jail in North Carolina, I would never know they sold Qur'ans because you rarely see a Muslim there. Like, if you go to like the cities like Raleigh, maybe Fayetteville, stuff like that, you're gonna see a lot of Muslims. But I'm from Dunn, which is like 15-20 minutes from Raleigh, and then like from Fayetteville, and then like 45 minutes, an hour from Raleigh. So it's like in Dunn, North Carolina, you don't see any Muslims there. There's no masjids, there's no hijabs, you don't see no Muslims. There's no Arabs. You don't see, it's no Muslims there. Everybody's Christian. Like all the churches everywhere and everything. You don't see Muslims there. So thinking today, if I'd never been to jail in North Carolina, I would never have sold Qur'ans. But I was there. I bought one while I was locked up in Johnson County Jail at the time. I'd have been to multiple jails in North Carolina. I'd have been to Sampson County, Harnett County, Johnson County. I'd have been to Polk. That's prison. I'd have been to a lot of places in North Carolina. So I bought a Qur'an. It was only $12, like 49 cents on the canteen. I bought that, and then the rest of the stuff I bought like stuff to cook up swolls, or in Delaware. Here in Delaware, I live in Delaware. They call them bonies. Philly, they call them chi-chis, whatever. In North Carolina, we call them swolls. So I bought stuff to cook up swolls, like the Cheetos, the shebang chips. I bought everything, cheese, all that. I bought stuff to make steak cakes, like the sweet desserts and stuff. I bought stuff to make a lot of stuff. So I spent all that money. And they let me sit in there, and per my request, they let me sit in there. I read the Quran again. This time, I read it slower. I didn't read it all the way through.
What's good?
What's up, Brody? I'm busy right now. Yeah, Skisi, he took a flight on this morning.
Huh?
Skisi going for a while. He took a flight this morning.
Yeah, that's not really.
Yeah. But yeah, so this time I read the Quran a lot slower. I didn't read it in 3 days. I read it in about 3 weeks this time. I read it about 20, 25 days, 24 days, something like that. A little over 3 weeks. I took time and I read it again. All the way through. Now remember, I just finished it. Well, the canteen took about 4 days to get there. So I just finished it basically 7 days before. Now I find myself reading it again. 7 days later, after I just finished it, I'm reading it again, but this time I'm reading it slow. I don't rush right back in the cell to read it again. I ponder on what I read before. So like, let's say we get ourselves 3 times a day. So let's say morning come around and it switches up. So each day is a different time that you get out. So let's say, but it's only 2 different times. So to make that make sense, okay, let's say today. These are just made up numbers because I don't actually remember. Let's say today. Let's say the left side of the pod gets out at 7:15. And they got to be back in by 8:45. Then the right side gets out at 8:45. And they got to be back in by, let's say, 12 o'clock. And then lunch trays come, whatever, boom, you yourself for 2.5 hours, and then you get out again, and then the left side gets out and then that switches each day. So if left side got out first yesterday, they get out second the next day. Makes sense? It switches, but you get out different times, but it's basically you get a morning, you get a lunch, and you get a dinner time to get out of your cell and, make phone calls, chill, play spades, do whatever you're doing. So this time I wouldn't rush back in the cell and read the Quran. I would ponder on what I read before I came out the last time. So while I'm in the cell for an hour, 2 hours straight before I get out, I'm reading. When I get out of the cell, I'm thinking about what I was reading. Then when I go back in, I'm still thinking about it. I go back and read some pages. Like, okay. And then I read it all the way through again. It took about 3 weeks. So then my grandma, she couldn't handle it. I was my grandma baby. My first word was grandma. My first word was mama, basically. And in North Carolina, in Delaware, and in North Carolina, anywhere. But in North Carolina, I mostly say grandma. But in Delaware, mama means grandma. That's the term we use up here. like I said, I'm from North Carolina, but I was partially raised in Delaware and North Carolina, so I know both ways. But my mom is grandma, so I said my mom was my first word. So my mom always tells me this. She told me it was raining, and I was on the step, and the rain started pouring on me. And then my grandma was on the porch. She was about to come walk off and get me. And I turned around and I said, Mama. And she grabbed me and blah, blah, blah. She still was my favorite person as I was an adult. So I don't really, well, she didn't see me after I turned 18. She passed away. Hopefully Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives her a chance. She was a Jehovah's Witness. So she did believe in the oneness of Allah. She didn't go as far as to the Quran or as to the messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But hopefully Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu alam, he knows best. But hopefully he gives her a test that she can make it into Jannah. She's somebody I would want to bring, to Jannah if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would grant me this, But Allahu alam, he knows best. So yeah, that's my baby. But she couldn't take it. She like Donnell. Donnell was my dad. That's my middle name. I was named after him. For I took on my Muslim name. Me and him have the same name. So she's like, Donnell, let's go get that boy. I was living with her at the time. Like I was living with her all the time. I was going to jail. I was at her house. Let's go get. I need to get my boy. So my dad like, all right, you know what? Let's go get him. So they both come up there and buy me out again. Buy me out. This time I get out. I go back to the streets, but I don't get real crazy. Like I'm still doing the same exact stuff, but I'm coming home earlier. Instead of 3 in the morning, I was coming home at 10 or 11 p.m. I get on. At the time, we didn't have smartphones. We had like Boost mobile phones, Boost mobile track phones and stuff like that. That's what we had. But what we had was very important. Desktop. Desktop. We had that line wire popping and and all that stuff. We had a desktop. So I get on that desktop, I start researching a lot of Islam stuff, a lot of Islam. I was on probation too. A couple days went by, like a couple weeks went by. I got my disposition in court. I had to do 2 years probation. The whole time I'm at home searching up, but I'm still out there in the streets. I done got in a couple, I say fender benders. But every time I come home, I'm searching up Islam, reading, studying more. I start getting into this when Facebook, when I first got Facebook anyway, 2010. I think that's when Facebook first came out. But when I first got Facebook, 2010. Everybody got it around that time. So when I first got Facebook, boom, I still had my MySpace popping though, my background page and all of that with the music jumping. When you click on mine, turn that. You hear me? So yeah, so I started getting on Facebook. I started looking at like these Muslim groups and stuff. My mom calls me from Delaware. She like, hey, listen, you just keep getting locked up, because by this time I done been locked up twice within a very small time span. So she like, you know what you might as well do? You might as well just go back, serve the rest of your time that's on your probation in jail, because your suspended sentence is not going to be the 2 years that they gave for probation. If you look at the paper, it tells you suspended sentence, how much time you got. My mom taught me all of that. My dad tried to teach me too, but my dad got a funny way of teaching. His way of teaching is read it. Like he like one of those, like he was real good. I ain't gonna lie, my dad was a real good dad, before he died and stuff. He's a real good dad. But he was one of those, he like me, he's a realist. Like, boy, just read it. You 16. You 17. I was 17 at the time. You 17. You can read this. Tell me what it say. And then he'd go off about his business, wait for me to come back. If I don't never come back with an answer, he assume I never even read it and just go on about his business. He like, shit, experience the best teacher. My mom, she like, if you read the paper, it'll tell you how much time you got to serve if you get in trouble, how much time you already served, blah, blah, blah. So I read it. So it was like, my sentence was 45 days, but I already served 27 days, but I got to do 2 years probation. So I read it. I'm like, Mom, this joint say, and my mom was like, so listen, this is what you do. You go back, tell your PO, tell your PO. I had 2 POs. I had a female and a male. They would pop up in my grandma's house, but I was unsupervised, so it was like I didn't have to be there, but they expect me to still live there. But I was still in the streets. But I lived with my grandma, so my grandma would call me. Yeah, I remember this one time my grandma called me. Right, my voicemail. This is back when we had the cool voicemails. You know what I mean? Like I had a flip phone, flip Boost mobile phone, so I was cool. I had the cool voicemail. My voicemail was like, hold on, let me see right. It was like, hey yo, you know who this is? Leave a message. Click. That's how it went. Why my grandma? Wallahi Azim. My grandma called me one time when my probation officer was at the house. They was getting ready to search my room and stuff, make sure I had no guns and stuff in there. Called me. My grandma called my phone. I was in the club. I was at the club partying. It was at Dave's club too. This before it shut down. We was in there getting lit. I get outside. I get to my homeboy house. I check my voicemail. My grandma called me. She said, remember my voicemail said, yo, you know who this is? Leave a message. Click. My grandma told me, yeah, and you know who this is. Call me back. Hey, Gladys was a trip. You hear me? So listen, Gladys was a trip. So she did that. So I bust out laughing. I done pulled up at her crib, jumped in. My POs was there and shit. They're like, yeah, we came to check, make sure you ain't had no weapons in the room and stuff. He was like, but you all good, man. We about to get out of here anyway. Boom, boom. Like, all right, cool. They leave. Boom, boom. So that's my mom telling me all this. She like, so go do your time. Tell your PO you want to do your time. And come move up here to Delaware. Just when I'm 17, come move up here to Delaware. Get a better start. She said, I'm not going to say it's a better environment. Actually, it's a worse environment. Wilmington, Delaware is way worse. This is the city. It's kind of like New York or Philly and stuff. It's literally 20 minutes from Philly. Like, this is a worse environment than North Carolina, but all the people I know in North Carolina makes it a worse environment for me. I'm consistently getting shootouts because I'm beefing with people. Back from when I was still blood at the same time. I was still blood, so like, I'm beefing with people. I'm getting fights. I'm doing everything. Selling drugs still. So it's like, you don't know nobody up here. Come move up here. You probably shouldn't get into nothing. So that's kind of what it was. So I move up here. I go do my time. I go do the rest of my what I had like 17 days or something left to do on my sentence versus 2 years of probation. So I don't know why I didn't do that anyway, because I wasn't thinking. I was just so ready. All right, it's time for me to get out. So I go do my time, and my mom had already bought my train ticket while I was in jail. She bought my train ticket for a week after I get out of jail, so that way I can say bye to my grandma and all of them. I get out, I say bye to my grandma, my little brother Tremaine. I'll say Lord rest his soul, and I hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him a test as well. He just died going on 2 years ago. My little brother, my younger brother, one of my younger brothers. I got a lot of brothers and sisters. So he's now trying to be in between my dad and my grandma. So my dad won't let him. My dad won't stay there. My grandma, I say bye to her. My aunt be here. I say bye to everybody. That I moved to Delaware. Now, remember when I said I was doing all that on the desktop? I had ran into some Muslim groups of Delaware. Like I ran into that. I ran into North Carolina. I met this sister. I'll never. Allah, as long as I live, as long as I don't get Alzheimer's. But Allah, and as long as Allah don't force me, I'll never forget her. Her name Jamila Abdullah. Her father, I just seen him last night. I seen him last night at like 11 p.m. Every time I see him, he come up, give me that, give me a hug. Like that's my guy. You hear me? That's my Muslim brother for life. But Jamila Abdullah, I'm messaging her because I'm interested in her. I like her. I think she's pretty. I want to talk to her. I think she could be my girlfriend. I ain't Muslim at the time, but I already started studying and learning stuff. So now I know that them people that's wearing those I didn't know it was called a hijab. I just know it's the headscarf. But the people that was wearing those, now I know those Muslims. So I'm gonna try to talk to a Muslim girl. I'm trying to talk to Jamila Abdullah about Jamila Abdullah is like she one of those good Muslim women. So, if she got married, I don't know. Me and Suleiman, her dad is Suleiman Abdullah. When me and him talk, the first time we ever spoke about her was probably like 2 weeks ago at the Mash with the Juma. We don't talk about her. Like, we don't talk about his daughter, his wife. Like, I know them. Like, but we don't really, we talk about each other. That's just Muslim love. We talk about each other. Like, we ask how each other doing and stuff. He just found out she the one who brought me into Islam 2 weeks ago when we finally talked about her. But yeah, so she talking to me, but I know she know that I like her. I don't want her or something. But she not giving off no signal that she like or want me back. And it's not because she don't like or want me back. But it's not because she do either. Because I don't know. Allahu Alam. But she is entertaining me, but not inappropriately, if you get what I'm saying. Like, she's not entertaining me on some, oh yeah, I'll talk to you if you do this, or yeah, I think you kind of, like, she not doing none of that. She talking to me, she like, hey, listen, I see that you getting interested in Islam. I see that you just joined this group. Where you from? Right? What you be doing for a living, blah, blah. She's just trying to get the feel of getting to, like, speak to me, know me and stuff. So I'm telling her, like, yeah, I'm from North Carolina, but I just moved to Delaware. She's like, oh, I live in Delaware. Oh, damn. She like, you're not Muslim yet, though, right? I'm like, nah. She like, hey, listen, you should come to my masjid this Friday. What's a masjid? I haven't actually read that word in the Quran. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know what a masjid is. So, properly, a person would probably say mosque. But she's like, come to the masjid. I'm like, hey, listen, man, listen. I'm tatted up. This is what I'm telling. I'm typing her this. If I can log into that Facebook account that I had, I can pull these messages in. I'm typing her back. I'm like, hey, listen, look, man, some people not gonna want me up in there. I'm a street nigga. Stuff for us, my niggas. I'm a street nigga. I'm from the streets. I done did a lot of things, you feel me? Like, I'm from the streets. Like, tatted up. Girl, I'm not walking in that place tatted up as I am. I'm covered. Now, this is during Ramadan. I did not know it was Ramadan, right? Until I became Muslim. But it's during Ramadan of 2011. So this is during, like, Ramadan. You feel me? Very important one for her, especially for them, So then she's begging me, like, not like she's saying please, or like she's persistent though. I'm talking, this was going on for a week. This was like probably a Monday or Tuesday we saw it. She persistent. She's like, man, listen, I promise you, no matter what you think somebody gonna say about you, it won't never be said. Not in front of your face, not behind your back, not ever be said. Nobody gonna say nothing about your tattoo. Like, this time, by the time I was 17, sleeves, by the time I was 17, sleeves, like just tattoos everywhere. You know what I mean? So she like, I promise you, nobody's gonna say nothing. I just want you to come, get a feel, see how you feel. If you don't like it or enjoy it, you can leave. We don't stay in there for hours like you probably used to. I said, how you know you used to stay in there for hours if you was more than Muslim? She said, I just know that, Christians do church and they be in there for 4 or 5 hours. She said, we're in there for 45 minutes. That's all you gotta deal with. She said, if you can't handle that, then you walk out, no problem. I'm gonna introduce you to my dad when he comes. Like, introduce you to your dad. I'm thinking she want me at this point. Like, I'm like, shit, she thinking like that. Like, no, not at all. I didn't know that until I actually became one. So she's like, yeah, because the brothers don't pray with the sisters. We're in the same room as y'all, but we're behind y'all. So I can't take you to show you how to do wudu because you're going to pray with us. She telling me this. Like, she not asking me, hey, are you okay with praying with us? Or she like, she for it. Like, I know her husband is a very proud man. If she's married to this day, I don't even know. Like I said, I've never asked Suleiman. Like, I see Suleiman every week. Every week we go to Juma on Friday. I'm still at the same masjid I took my shahada at, Masjid al-Qatar. You know, so we never talk about it. But if she is married, I know her husband's a proud man, because I would be. You know, Alhamdulillah. So yeah, so she like, yeah, you don't come back there with a Muslim man, so I gotta get you to a Muslim man. And my dad's gonna be there, and you know, so he gonna show you the Muslim man side. So, all right, you know what? I go. In my head, I'm thinking I'm capping. This Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. In my head, I'm thinking I'm capping. By the time I agreed to go, I'm like, I'm not going. No, I'm not going. Friday come. I don't know what told me. My feet got up. My feet got up. 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, man, am I really gonna do this? I done got dressed. I done took a shower, got dressed. Boom, boom. I'm like, I got a short sleeve shirt on, tattoos everywhere. I'm like, you know what? Alright, whatever. 12 o'clock come, I'm at the masjid. I'm at Masjid al-Qatar on Governor Prince. Same masjid I go to this day, 14 years later. Been Muslim for 14 years. I go to Masjid al-Qatar. Jamila's the first person I see. Well, the first person I recognize. She walk up to me. Hey, come here. Come here. Dad, hey, I met this guy on Facebook. He's wow, she's displaying. He like, oh, okay, how you doing? Salam alaikum. I'm like, I don't know. He like, you can say wa alaikum salam. He tell me that. Alright, I go in the masjid. I make salat with them. I took my shahada right after salat of Jumu'ah in Ramadan. My grandma passed away a couple months later. Like I got to tell her, but she still passed away a couple months later before I could really try to get to her. But yeah, I took my shahada the same day. The first time I ever entered a masjid in my life was because Sister Jamila, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send peace and blessings and grant her Jannah. Because her move changed my life, and she'll receive rewards off of any salah I make. Or anyone I bring to the deen, you know, she'll receive the rewards for life. So may Allah grant her Jannah. Well, that's basically how I became Muslim. And that's it, my first time off of Salat. I went to Imam Ali. He's still there. He's not the one, the speaker anymore. He's a little older now. Even then, he was probably about 50. You know, he probably was 60 then. So he probably about 70 something now. He's still in the masjid. He's sitting in that chair. Sit back, cool Arab dude, like probably Pakistani or something, maybe even Egyptian or something. I don't know. You got a real beautiful skin complexion about him. But yeah, man, Ali gave me my shahada. He said, hey, I need 2 witnesses. He said, I need 2 witnesses. The whole masjid poured up. It was probably like 100, maybe 80 people, 80 or 100 people in there. Sisters, brothers, Jamila came in there. Her dad, Suleiman. He came in there, took my shahada, mashallah. I will make another video, and it will drop today, as well as this one. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.